Hello, my name's Jermaine. This is Bells and Wilson Sport. Alongside me today, Nando.
Welcome everyone.
Thank you, ladies and gents. As you know, we're going to start talking about boxing. First topic we're going to start with is Anthony Joshua's opponent. So obviously he was scheduled to fight Gerald Miller at Madison Square Gardens on the 1st of June, and obviously he's failed 3 drugs tests, resulting in him being potentially banned for 12 months, as they're saying. What do you make of that first?
I think it's a disgrace. For once, I actually agree with Eddie Hearn. I think it's a disgrace that he put AJ in danger like that, because it's mad. It's like, you know, AJ would have been going at him, and Miller would have just been coming back and coming back and coming back. He could have hurt Joshua like badly. I think 12 months. I think it should be more than that. I think it should be 18 months. I think it should be 3 years. The thing is, the only thing I was looking forward to about this fight was more the beef between them, like the press conference, the face-to-face. It would have been an interesting fight, because I reckon if Miller hit AJ, could have rocked him, because if Povetkin did it, imagine Miller could probably hit harder than Povetkin. But as for the opponent, AJ did say 72 hours. It's now been a week. So what's going on? I'm hearing Andy Ruiz. Mate, like, come on. Like, I'm hearing like this guy's a great fighter, and that, mate, he just looks like some any builder, mate. No offense. Like, he just like some big belly, slow. What is going on? And Hunter as well, some cruiserweight. What's going on? Like, I'm getting pissed off about it.
No, I echo that. Obviously, sports fans, boxing fans are getting frustrated by that. Obviously, at first he was linked with Ortiz. That didn't come through. That fell through, that one.
The crazy thing about Ortiz, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, it got reported like 3 days ago. It said that Ortiz's management came out and said, oh, we didn't even speak to Matchroom, we didn't even hear from Eddie Hearn or anything. Last night they came out and said, yeah, it's our fault that it didn't happen. You know, we got offered $5 million, but we didn't take it. Now VADA is going to look into Ortiz. You better hope he doesn't fail a drug test as well, because what, 6 weeks you ain't enough time to prepare, and now VADA is going to investigate it.
Yeah, to be honest, the way boxing's going at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if he fails a drug test. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets caught out. Obviously before, he had problems before with, I think, dieting when he fought fighting Deontay Wilder. So I wouldn't be surprised if he fails a drug test. But talking about that, obviously, like you got like obviously Miller failed a drugs test. You got people like who else he might fight? Hunter, obviously he might fight Hunter or Ruiz. Who is there he could possibly fight? Because if we run out of time, really running out of time, the opponents they're not really good established opponents. They're quite poor. Obviously Hunter is a cruiserweight originally. He had one professional fight at heavyweight. To throw him in there with a world champion like Anthony Joshua is a bit of a mismatch here. What do you think?
It is a mismatch. It's a shame. You know what? Eddie Hearn's lucky that the undercard's looking great. Obviously, they can't cancel the main event, because you could put Callum Smith in the main event with like a big middleweight, like a good middleweight. You could put him. You could have done Callum Smith versus Golovkin, if anything, as the main event.
Benavidez too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would have been good as well. Even, do you know what? If it wasn't for the Jacobs fight, even Canelo, that would have been amazing. You can't, because what can you do? A rematch with Povetkin? Dylan White is obviously 0-2, and it's too soon, and it's not really a big fight in Madison Square Garden. It has to be here at Wembley. It has to be at Tottenham's new ground or something. I don't know. I honestly get Klitschko out of retirement and could have done a rematch there at Madison Square Garden, if anything, because I don't know who else could have done it. Like, I can't even think of any heavyweights right now that would have made this fight even better to replace Miller, or to be at least like, oh, you know what, he's a decent opponent, he'll give him some trouble. Because I was praying that it wouldn't be Joseph Parker again, because I'll walk away from the main event. As soon as Katie Taylor, Callum Smith and Kell Brook fight's over, boom, I'm going home. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard for Eddie Hearn to get a top fighter in, or a decent fighter in that time. He's running out of time, as we all know. I think he has to get a fighter who's going to be willing to fight Joshua, and is going to put up a good performance, because we don't want to just throw him in there against another bum, which probably is going to be another bum. But we actually need him to put up a good performance and make it worthwhile for the fans, because you've got a lot of fans that pay a lot of money, travel over there already. and Joshua always takes a lot of fans of him anywhere, if it's at Wembley, anything like that. So yeah, for people going to be paying for pay-per-view as well, you don't want to be let down as well by a bum. So yeah,
I think a decent opponent would have been that Polish fighter Kowalski.
Yeah, Adam Kowalski.
Kowalski, he's from Brooklyn. It would have made a lot more interesting this fight because he's a decent fighter. He's a tough fighter. He's better than Andy Ruiz. He's better than even Jarrell Miller. Like, get Shannon Briggs in there.
But you do have to think. Like, obviously, some of these fighters do need a good training camp. They do need sometimes like a 13-week camp. So to get this thrown in there at a short notice, they need time to prepare. And like I said, you're going to fight the world champion Andy Joshua, unified world champion. You don't want to be like giving yourself 4 to 6 weeks. You need to give yourself a lot of time to prepare for that fight. But that needs to get sorted out pretty soon because it's getting frustrating now. But like I said, there's a good thing about it is that the undercard is very good. Waxi's fight out there. Yeah. Like you said.
But the Katie Taylor, do you know what? The Katie Taylor fight for me, people may not agree, is a bigger fight than the AJ fight because it's a unification, the first women's unification in that division. It's history. So the AJ fight, Miller wasn't really bringing anything to the table. It was just, I'm AJ, I'm coming here to break America, I'm defending my titles. That's it. So the Katie Taylor fight should be the main event in my opinion.
Yeah, it could have been, but to be honest now he's done a lot of preparation and promoting for this fight now. I can't really see anyone else headlining that bill. But moving on, obviously recently this week it's been announced that Gennady Golovkin's going to be fighting again. He's been out for a while. He's fighting Ruiz.
Yeah, he's fighting ranked number 98 in the world.
Yeah, there you go.
Says it all.
That could be an early stoppage. Won't go anywhere past 3 rounds for me, to be honest. Obviously news as well, as we're talking about Golovkin, news that he's
Abel Sanchez
parted way with his manager, his trainer, Abel Sanchez.
Yeah.
I think they've been together probably about 9 years or so.
Maybe longer.
Yeah, long time. And they've
taught him everything.
Yeah, taught him everything. Abel Sanchez came out recently and said that he lost not only a friend, like a son as well. So that shows you how close their bond was together. What do you think about that? Obviously, it's a bit of a shock.
I don't know, because there's always two sides to every story. The person's side of the story I would like to hear, because then you could tell what kind of character Abel Sanchez is Joe Joyce.
Yeah.
Why did Joe Joyce leave him? So if Joe Joyce left him after being there maybe a year, maybe even 9 months, I think, and all of a sudden Golovkin leaves him, there's got to be something there. I don't know if it's about greed or something must have happened, like more than what Abel Sanchez is claiming. But there's two sides to every story, so I want to hear Golovkin's side, and then I would like to hear one day, like Joe Joyce, why did he leave Abel Sanchez? But it's a shame because, do you know what? I don't know what kind of trainer he's going to get. You know what I would love? Just to get back at Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo, I would love Mayweather to train Golovkin.
Wow, that's a big statement. Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
Yeah,
it could happen. Obviously, you'll have to change it. Where he's fighting before, he's fighting at the Big Bear. He was training at the Big Bear. Obviously, the attitude was different.
Yeah.
That's another factor people talk about. What maybe made them split up. Obviously, greed. They're saying about greed now. He signed a big contract with DAZN. Yeah, he signed a big contract with DAZN. That's probably another reason why he might have split. Obviously, maybe Abel Sanchez wanted a bit more money.
That makes him greedy. He should be happy for his fighter that he actually managed to get a big deal like this. Like, why is Canelo entitled to 300 million deal and Golovkin ain't? Like, Golovkin is, for me, same level as Canelo. He's done a lot for the sport. For me, there should be a trilogy because it's 1-1. In my opinion, it's 1-1. It should be 2-0 Golovkin, in my opinion. But there should be that trilogy. Canelo ain't this big superstar. Okay, because Golovkin obviously is from a country that ain't huge on boxing, and obviously Canelo is like the face of Mexico right now for many Mexican fighters and for the country. Obviously, you're going to give him money, but Golovkin deserves it as well. He's earned it.
Yeah, I agree there. I think Golovkin's been a champion for a long time. Dominated the middleweight division. He's fought some good fighters as well. He's got what he deserves, and really getting a big contract like that. But obviously, it's a shame to see that both the trainer and the fighter are parted ways. But yeah, moving on away from that one. Obviously, yesterday you had a split decision draw between Robert Easter Jr. Yeah, obviously I was a bit shocked at that. I thought you bounce back and win that fight. Obviously, you've got potential fights that could be happening as well. Obviously, this week, Mikey Garcia vacated his WBC.
Luke Campbell.
Crown. What do you think of that? Maybe he's fighting. Who do you think is going to fight next?
You know what? I told you this. As soon as that happened, me and you text each other, and I said it. Give it to Loma. I know, like you don't agree with that, but give it to Loma, and then that way set up that fight with someone like Pacquiao, or set up like a bigger fight. I don't know who else Luke Campbell can fight. Who could it be? If you want to make big money, maybe give it to Pacquiao. Luke Campbell and Pacquiao in the UK. Yeah. Imagine that. That would sell. That would sell. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for Luke Campbell. I don't know what Mikey Garcia is playing at. I don't know what is he thinking of, maybe going up again, because I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that I thought he would obviously losing to Spence. I thought he would actually go down the weight, back to his normal weight, and fight one of these guys, maybe a Davis, maybe a Lomachenko. But obviously he's vacated his belt. He must have other ideas about maybe going up now.
Yeah,
it must be a big fight.
Spence went 2 weights up, didn't he?
So Spence went 2 weights up.
So he's probably going up 1 weight now.
Yeah, so he's going to go up 1 weight for this fight. Well, depends who he's fighting really, but he might go up 1 weight, he might go up 2 again. But I'm a bit surprised by that. I thought it was in a pipeline between him and Lomachenko. Well, obviously that's not going to happen. But who would you like to see Garcia fight next if he does?
Mikey Garcia? Well, there's no point of fighting Loma now because he's got no belt. I'm not even sure. I don't know who he could fight. Who's a good opponent in the one division up? That's the thing. Who can he really fight? Is it Hooker? Is it Hooker the division up?
I think it's Hooker. I'm trying to think what's there.
Charlo?
You got Charlo. I think Charlo's at middleweight. So you got Charlo. I think light middleweight. I think.
Brooks there, isn't he? Brooks there, isn't he?
No, Brooks. So Brooks will be 154. So.
I don't know who he can fight because we don't know if he's even going up. So
yeah, we don't know. Like I said, he might have vacated that belt, and you never know. He might actually fight Gervonta Davis. Maybe we don't know if he's scheduled for a fight.
A good fight.
Maybe he was scheduled for a mandatory that he didn't want to take, and he vacated his belt. We don't know really.
He has to go down for Davis, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he would have to go down for Davis.
So that might be the plan. You know what? Him against Davis will be a good fight. Davis is on his good day. He's a hard hitter. Garcia is more technical, so it'll be interesting to see. It will be kind of like how Crawford and Spence will be if they fought each other.
Yeah. Also, he could also fight Tevin Farmer. You know,
for the belt.
He's an IBF world champion. That could happen. What do you think of that fight? Maybe it happens.
That'll be a good fight. At least Farmer will step up and unlike Gervonta Davis and going on Twitter and just chatting shit all the time, because that's what he does. And people do fights. He goes on Twitter. I could have done better. I could have done this. He's like Floyd. That's the thing. You're around Floyd, you become an arsehole. Look at Adrian Broner. Yeah. That's how it is. And yeah, if you're an arsehole, you're going to turn your fighters into an arsehole. That's it.
It's true. So obviously, fights coming up next week. We got Canelo v Danny Jacobs.
Yeah.
That's a massive fight. I'm looking forward to that fight.
Huge.
Obviously, it's going to be a lot of people tune into that fight. People obviously got their favourites. What do you think make of that fight?
That's a great fight. I think Jacobs was actually unlucky against Golovkin when he fought him. I actually want to see the rematch of Jacobs and Golovkin eventually. The thing is, Jacobs, the only way he's going to win is he has to outbox Canelo. You're not going to knock him out. You're not, because if someone like Golovkin can't knock out Canelo, there's no hope for Jacobs as well. Jacobs needs to watch that right hand of Canelo, because we've seen it so many times. Rocky Fielding, Amir Khan, we've seen many times what he can do. I hate to admit it, because I like Canelo, but I think ever since he's been with Oscar De La Hoya, he's lost a lot of fans because of his personality. He's someone else, because he was more humble before, and now he's kind of like De La Hoya. He's getting too cocky and speaking too much. I would love Jacobs to win that. I love shockers, don't I? So I would love Jacobs to win that belt, and maybe fight Billy Joe Saunders afterwards for that.
That would be a good fight, a really good fight. For me, I would like Jacobs to win. I'll say that because he's come back from obviously beating cancer.
Yeah.
That was a big fight of his. He come back to be a 2-time world champion as well. I just don't like the way Golden Boy treating Canelo at the moment. Obviously, got him a big contract. But just like stuff like, for instance, the other day they got a judge who was in charge of the first Canelo Triple G fight, and absolutely robbed those guys.
Mexican mafia.
I think Golden Boy has actually paid for the judges this time to actually maybe rob Jacobs. I think is a bit. Yeah, so I think Jacobs for me has to win by knockout.
Yeah.
And as a knockout Canelo is going to be a tall ask because not even Triple G could do that. So for me, I'd like to see Jacobs win. I'd like to see him put in a really brilliant display, a masterclass, and win the fight. So, also we've got fights coming up soon as well. We've got Billy Joe Saunders coming up as well.
Billy Joe Saunders, yeah.
We've got a fight announced as well. We've got obviously Dillian White, Rivas. What do you make of that one?
Do you know what, Rivas? I saw a few clips of him. He's actually a tough. Do you know what? Any Cuban boxer is a tough boxer. They're known for that. Very skillful for heavyweight. Do you know what? Apart from AJ, this might be Dillian's toughest fight. I know, like he was losing both fights against Chisora, but this guy technically is better than Chisora. It's going to be a tough fight for Dillian. Very tough. I look forward to it. I hope the undercard is going to be good as well. I'm hearing that. I doubt it because it's BT Sport. I'm hearing the same night it's going to be Joe Joyce and Dubois. So obviously Frank Warren again trying to put Smart. I give him that same time. And me personally, I'd rather watch Joe Joyce and Dubois instead of that fight because it's a WBC silver title. I forget that. It'll be interesting, but I look forward to the Dubois fight instead.
Okay, yeah, that's all we have today. That's all we're going to catch up on. Basically, thank you for tuning in today. You can also catch us more on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the lot. Thank you for joining us today, and that's Bells and Whistles. We're out for today. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you guys.